Hello. I had the cotton test for my special test to go over. I found an article, or I guess a systematic review on PubMed. It said that this is used to diagnose syndesmosis injury, which we also learned earlier this semester. The gold standard for this, it mentioned arthroscopy, but it also says that this is an expensive and invasive procedure, and that it's typically only done with either a higher grade injury or to actually treat the injury itself. So it also talked about how x-rays or CT scans can be used, x-rays to rule out fractures, but a CT would be used over an x-ray. But again, these are pricey ways to see if someone does have this injury. So the point of the review was to try and find different tests that we can use clinically that are not invasive, like the arthroscopy. It does go on to say that an MRI is the highest sensitivity and specificity ratings overall. But again, the point of the study was to find out what we can do clinically opposed to doing any of these expensive tests. The review also goes on to test other special tests such as anterior drawer, squeeze test, fibular translation. It also does dorsiflexion, and it's just seeing which of these tests, if any of them, have the highest ratings overall to use clinically. In this review, there were 12 participants for the cotton test. There were 9 asymptomatic in both ankles participants, and then there were 3 that had suspected chronic syndesmosis injuries. The diagnostic accuracy of this was 42.9, while the sensitivity score was between 0.12 and 0.55, and the specificity was between 0.36 and 0.92. Based on this, I would not only use the cotton test. We learned in orthopedic assessment that it does not have a ton of literature backing it up, but I wouldn't totally rule it out. I would also use other tests on top of that in order to diagnose this injury. Again, it did mention the anterior drawer and the squeeze tests and fibular translation, so I would use all 3 of those as well, as fibular translation has a diagnostic accuracy of 61.9, and the squeeze test had diagnostic accuracy of 63.3. So again, I guess I would use the cotton test, but it would not be like my sole test that I'm going to rely on for this injury. And again, if it is that high of a grade, I would send someone off for imaging, and maybe even x-ray, again, just to rule out the fracture in there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you.